Okay, so remember that the way the car handles is all about weight transfer. When you brake, the centre of mass moves forward, when you accelerate it moves rearward, and when you turn in it's pushed to the outside of the car. The more load on each tyre equals more grip, so make sure you're smooth with the controls to prevent the weight transfer from becoming too violent.
So, hello, good evening, welcome to OTL Season 5, it is round 6 and tonight it is the second sprint of the season. I'm going to go blue for a little minute because I need to do some audio adjusting because the cars are indeed trying to blow my head off. For some reason I was in a car, but it's not meant to be the way, so just ignore the HOR alien tag, that is myself, I should not be there. And it means I am going to be at the start of the grid for the launch as well, so that's going to make things a little bit complicated. But we will do our best. Let's get a rundown of who is where in the championship. Let's get some data on the screen for all to see. I think it's going to be the Ferrari of Skarma first on the lap, so we'll go with Skarma. And I will get a quick look at the standings. Bear with me 1 second. So Corner Kid leading the way, he's got a 6-point advantage to Chubby Slug. Then we've got ENTXJ in 30s, and so it's 94 for Corner, sorry, 88 for Chubby Slug, 83 for ENTXJ. Then we've got Nelly in P4 and 75, Chris Tips P5 and 68, Nadim P6 on 65, Nude Potato P7 on 64, Rob Bills P8 on 62, Skarma P9 on 53, and Pelly in P10 on 49. That rounds out the top 10 of the championship. In terms of constructors, there is 6 points between our top 4 teams, Alpine, Mercedes, AlphaTauri and Red Bull. It's 137 for Alpine going against 136 for Mercedes, against 132 for AlphaTauri, against 131 for Red Bull. Then it's a bit of a gap to Aston Martin, they're 10 points adrift, and then it's McLaren, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams bringing up the rear. Connor Kidd probably comes into this, the driver in form, but I don't see the name. So let me get the stream up, just so we can see who is where. Good evening all. Daytime Jeddah, yeah. I think he has got the times wrong. But then I don't know if it's daytime because it's in a sprint session. SPW, that could be the reason. Sprint format. Oh, as Skarma there has a moment, first sector. You need to be very careful, the car's coming through. So Rob Wills has set the pace so far on a 29.6, then we can make a land on P2 and a 30.8, Skarma P3, as Leighton now goes into a 29.653, and he pops out just ahead of Rob Wills. Of course, Leighton making his debut, my fellow SBS man, of course, as is Pelly. 3 SBS being wrecked in OTL. But Leighton pits over Rob Wills by 4/100ths of a second. I'm not the host, don't call me a mutant, it's Adam. There's one Stephen O'Light. We'll go on board with the Alpine. we'll see exactly where Mick is going to put the car. I think Chubby Slug just about to open the lap. No, it's not. It is Michelando. He'll be going into the pit. So Mick is next up to get a lap time on the board. DRS open. It's going to be, he goes up to P5, so 31.5, just a couple of tenths away from Scum. A good chunk of time ahead of Dixie. I think Dixie is coming into the pits. He is indeed. Where is Kelly? I think Kelly's not one of the lead lines, so I think we've got some other drivers further ahead. In fact we do. Ryan Sam, he's on D-rate, so he's came off of his lap. Where is Surge? Let's see how Surge is getting on. In fact he's barreling down to the last corner. He clips the wall a little bit. That's he's going to be able to hold on to the lap. It's Kristaps now. Who was that just slotted up the grid? In fact, Kristaps goes down to P3. Surge goes P6 and a 30.8. He just finished his milk. Who did? Pelly's picked up an invalidation. I wonder if that was at turn 21. And Leighton, another 10th up. Oh, and he's had a big moment, oh, and he manages to keep it from retirement. He hit the wall particularly hard there as well, so he's very lucky that he's still in the session there. He loses the front wing and that'll be that lap over. And that is the nature of the beast that they are driving. It's a very, very high paced Monaco, and one small mistake you're going to find the wall. So it's about staying as calm and collected in your lap as you can. Find any pairs on an invalidated lap. Pedal just on an out lap. So ENTXG I think won the Leighton done a Chris. Leighton did do a Chris. ENTXG, he's on an out lap. He's one of the drivers not to have set a lap time, so we'll just stay with him for now. So let's see, onboard ENTXJ for the first full hot lap of Jeddah. Oh, and that carb, you see it, it just unsets the car, and that, as I was saying, it's going to be, people are going to have to avoid. It's going to be the clean, consistent laps. It's going to score you some good lap times here. And the Vera Michelando start really swarming. And Michelando a couple of tenths up. So he's looking through the first sector at least to solidify that P6, or put a bit of distance at least between himself and Surge. It's got him a few tenths off, almost half a second, so he's made less of a threat in the first runs round. So let's see, Michelando down to the last corner he goes. Picks his braking nicely, took it up to the apex and then wait, smash the pedal off the last corner he goes, DRS open. And where is Mika going to improve? Is he going to go into the 29s? It's not, it's a 30.3, but he finds nearly half a second and goes much closer to Chubby Slug. And really hammers from that P6 position to get half a second now in Surge. Dixie off the last corner, with a little bit of a moment, clipping the wall. But I think in that lap, he's had Mixed statement. I don't understand, I'm confused, Stephen. Very, very confused. I'm actually share the chat and just so people can tune in. And Dixie setting a PB in the first sector the second time around. He may run short of some energy come near the end of the race though. The end of the lap. I do apologise. But we will see 25% in their full sector to go though. It is certainly not going to aid an attack lap. As Rob Wills now goes to 28.9, he finds a massive amount of time in that lap and he now puts 7/10 of a second between himself and Leighton. So that is a very impressive second run indeed for Rob Wills. DRS open for Dixie and he's going to bail into the pit, so maybe the lack of energy has been enough for him just to accept that that lap would have improved, that he can certainly be much better. Oh, there's somebody facing the wrong way in a little bit of a moment. I think that was an Alfa Romeo, it could have been Surge, I think it was, he's got an Alfa Romeo on track. And of course being a sprint race, 9 laps and then 24 laps. Sing the concert? No. Although I seen a video of, it's funny, gerbils having a banquet, or guinea pigs having a banquet, and I thought of you straight away, Stephen, because of the videos. So Matty down into the last corner, where is he going to announce himself? Off the last corner he goes, DRS will open. And it's going to be, it's a 30.7, he gets himself up inside the top 10. And that midfield starting to look very, very congested indeed. How is Pelly getting on? He's off of his lap. Oh, he's got no win, so he's had a moment somewhere. Oh my god. I did not need to see that. And Nadeem now, 29.6. He has just pipped Leighton now, but Leighton of course in the pits, he's not set another run just yet, so I expect Leighton to find some time. I think Kristaps as well, been right up there. It's a pleasant surprise. I tell you, his middle sector's looking nice and tidy, so we'll stay with Kristaps because he only needs to find a couple of times and he could go into the second road again, and he's 8/10 up in his lap. He has a little bit of a wobble as he comes on to the last DRS one, so that's going to cost him time all the way down into the last corner, but 8/10 up. He is about to put, I mean he's set for the front row of the grid, so he's just got one corner to go. He's going to miss his apex by about a foot, but for the last corner he has managed to find some time. Up to the line he goes, and it's going to be, it's a 29.3 for Kristaps, up into P2, and that is probably one of the qualifying laps of his season so far. Right, Sam is here on the lap now, he's heading into the pits. Kristaps is getting into the pits, I think Matty's on an in-lap also. So it's out laps ahead, and I can't see because of the yellow flag in sector 1, but I'm hoping any moment I'll be able to see just exactly how long's left in the session. A bit later on this out lap. Good evening, Scammer, I hope you are well. F. Lewis, I told him he couldn't race. So who's the lead man on a out lap? I think it could be Jake. No, it's not. Is it Dixie? Nope, it is. It's Sir Pedro. So can he find any time? Nice and steady to the first sector, tucking it up nicely. Yes. Off the technical part of the track pretty well, so we get a sector split and he is half a second up, so Pedro found a chunk of time. And he could slot into, if he can continue this pace, slot inside the top 10 off for this lap, so we'll stay with him. Tricky little corner coming up. Is he going to stay away from the curb on the inside? Chooses to just opt away from it. He's looking for a clean lap rather than maybe a ultra aggressive lap. Oh, and a bit of traffic ahead for Pedro, so that traffic's going to need to either get out of the way or get up the road pretty quickly. He's going to get up the road. Pedro will get a little bit of a toe towards the line here, so that's going to work out not too bad, but I think he's definitely close enough to gain a little bit. Pedro to the line, where can he go? And he goes up to P8, it's a 30.7 for Pedro. Gets himself into a much better position, but where is Mick? How is Mick getting on? He goes to a 30.8. And look how close Pedro, Skarma, Matty, Surge, Mick. That is a competitive little battle. How much is Dix up? It was showing these 2.5 tenths. And he does go to a 32.2, so he's nearly up for second. But let's see, where is ENTXJ? It's showing him 5.9 seconds up. I think that's a bit broken. So Leighton now, through the middle sector he goes. He's up a big chunk of time. Has he got enough at the sector 2 split to put a challenge onto Rob? As the checkered flag falls in the qualifying, so it's this run or bust, and he's 6.5 tenths up, and Leighton could be about, oh, and he was about to take pole there, but he's went into the wall, and that could be not what he needed. We'll see if he has gave up any lap time there. Can he get himself at least back to the front row? Was it too much of a contact? Has it cost himself too much time? As Rob Wills extend his advantage, but only by the smallest of margins. So Leighton now to the line, he'll open the DRS. Can he find the time in his debut? Not quite, it's a 29.2. He does get back onto the front row, and with that big bit of contact, I think Leighton could have been on the front row of the grid. ENTXJ's invalidated his lap. Mika Lando is off of his. Pedro's not on one. How is Skarma? He's invalidated. What about Matty? I think Matty is on a lap. Skarma's going to get out of the way. I think Matty was looking for a little bit of a toe there, but Skarma not so keen to give it up. Into the last corner now goes Matty. Keeps it nice and tight to the apex. That's probably the best apex we've seen so far. DRS will open. He'll come to the line, and can Matty improve on the grid? He does. He goes into P6. It's at 29.7. Finds nearly 1 second of track time. And what about Pelly? To the line he goes. Pelly eventually gets a lap in the end of the session, just ahead of his teammate, and into P8 in the checkered flag falls. But it's another pole position for Rob Wills. Leighton on his debut gets P2, and it's a lap of what could have been there for Leighton, because I felt like the time he was shown, he was on for about a 28.7, 28.8 there. So an interesting race ahead, but good job to Rob, to Leighton and to Kristaps for top 3, and well done to Nadeem, ENTXJ, Matty, Mika, Pelly, Nude Potato and Chubby Slug rounding out the top 10. Then it's Ryan, Sam, Pedro, Skarma, Surge, Mick, Speechy, Dixie, and of course it's shown me as myself, and I don't quite know how I'm going to be able to do this, but because it's going to put me in a car chat. So I think, I don't know what's best to do. I don't know how to do this. They never let me get to spectator in time. We did a boo-boo. So hopefully there's a formation. If there's no formation lap, then the start of the race is bust. I apologise, chat. Racing comms, man, I can't. And I've not got the wheel out. I'm on controller, so it would most definitely cause a crash. So I'm hoping I can just retire on the grid here. We'll just need to use Race Director to get a view of what's happening up ahead. No, I cannot. So we will just need to bear with this, chat. This is all we'll get to see for now. And well, not much to see in the Race Director because every driver is going to go for that medium compound tyre. Yeah, at least commentating I can do that relatively well. I don't think it's good, but people have said better things. I guess my commentary is better than my driving. So I've just got to keep myself out of trouble. I will retire the car pretty quickly and then we will get on with the 9-lap race that is ahead. Now I've got a formation lap, so this might allow me to retire. And I cannot just yet, so chat, just bear with me.
But we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need...
In fact, how can I do this? I'm just going to have to continue
so
round.
put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
So in fact, I know what I can do. I can go to Race Director. We can just have a look at the grid. So, it's Rob from Leighton, Chris Stapps P3, Nadeem P4. We can't invite, that's the only thing. And I don't think I am in that chat, Jay. Actually, let's see if I can do this quick enough. I should be able to go to spectator mode from this. Just hopefully we don't miss the start of the race. I think that's an inevitability though. So I do apologise for the small discrepancy. And press triangle, I can go to spectate, and then that should be us rectified. It just means I'm going to have an AI car trundling around there. I made a right cock up of this one. I do apologise, chat. Apologies. So I guess they'll be racing now. Slights out and away they go. For the Jeddah sprint we cannot see. Hopefully someone's been nice. No, look at that, we're back. Just in time, chat. We got the job done, somebody went for a little teetherly spin there. And that was Mato, man. So we will watch from Rob Wills. For some reason we're seeing straight into the visor cam. Look at his PDIs through the visor. Just in time. Haha, Matt. Yep, standard. So The Jeddah sprint race for OTL, second sprint of the season. It's going to have lights any moment. I'd really prefer a better view, so it's 5 lights and lights out, and we are away for the sprint. It's quite an even start between our front row. Anybody further behind, you're going to have to watch Skarma back there in P13. He's always a good starter. As Leighton's been swarmed up just a little bit. Who was that on the inside? Nadeem very, very wild on the brakes. Leighton's going to keep himself out of trouble. He'll get back through now as they squeeze through. And he's getting back up against Nadeem. He tries to go around the outside the 3, but he's not going to be able to get the job done this time around. So that Leighton loses a couple off into turn 1. But he'll keep his head down, and Rob Wills is probably at the start of this season so far. He's 1.3 seconds ahead, coming out the first sector after the first lap. We'll filter back down the order. We've got ENTXJ there, MP5 right in a bit of a sandwich. He's going to pull out and try and make a move, and Leighton will watch this one as he tries to look to the long way. That inside line, of course, you will find a bit more grip, but ENTXJ has been able to get his car up beside, and they'll go side by side now as we head up towards the second sector for the first time, and hopefully this goes well. ENTXJ is going to leave space, and they're still being able to go through side by side. This is some tremendous racing between the two. Here as Pelly now tries to get involved. ENTXJ and Leighton still side by side all the way through the second sector. We'll go on board with Leighton as he decides now just to back out of that one and live to fight another day. Let ENTXJ go through. So now Pelly goes through, and there's a bit of contact, and I don't really think Leighton done much wrong there. I think that's just an unfortunate place to have a collision further back in the order. I thought I'd seen somebody making moves there. Who's this doing a bit of racing? It's Mick and Chubby Slug. And look at Mick from P15. He's up to P9. Skarma, Matty, Surge, Pelly and New Potato all getting caught out in the opening lap of the race. Has Mika or Leighton got any damage here? I don't think they have, so it's just continue on. And ENTXJ now trying to make a move on Nadeem. And Nadeem's going to be able to hold that position, and now ENTXJ will flex to the outside and try and go round along me, but there's been a spin, and Leighton couldn't do it. Oh, excuse me, chat. That ripped my throat a bit there. And has Leighton picked up some damage there? Was that Leighton that got caught up in that? I would be amazed now if Leighton has got no damage. Although the car looking pretty stable at the moment. Let's watch in the left-hand turns. And he's looking to have no damage in the car. So that has been tremendously lucky for Leighton. Rob has had a storming start. It's the best we've seen him for a long, long time. Probably the best this season. And he's really starting to find his mojo now. I think 2 seconds ahead after the second lap. And Pedro himself got himself from P12 up to P6. He's got Chubby Sluck and Mick close behind. Ryan Sam getting through and Speechy just behind. My AI's doing better than me. I know some 7 positions. Let's go! Go Alien, go! I forgot my AI was in the race. So Mika has got through on Leighton. And fair play there to Mika. Has that moment into the inside wall, knows there's a car fast approaching. Just leaves the racing room. Gives him the space he needs now. Can Kristaps and Nadeem close down that 2-second gap to Rob Bills? Rob's found a happy place. I think he's going to stay there as Pedro now is being hunted by Chubby Slug. Pedro getting the elbows out, and of course this is the starting positions for the main race, so the more you gain now the better. And Chubby Slug, I think, going to get quite an easy DRS pass there in the end on. Pedro's going to go a bit deep in the brakes. You need to be careful here. As soon as this company get involved, here comes Ryan Sam. He makes his way through now with Mick. I think Mick just had to lift. Ryan Sam had the open space. Pedro wing damage, let's have a look. Oh, so he does. So he could be coming into the pits, and he is. I think that's why he's staying off the racing line now. No, he's going to continue on. So Pedro happy to continue at the moment. As Mick and Ryan Sam go drag racing into turn 1. Mick on that inside line, Ryan Sam on the softs, leaving some racing room. There's good racing here between the two. Mick's going to continue on up to turn 4. I think Ryan Sam and his soft compound tyre will just get the better of Mick. He's still gained massively, up to P9. And Leighton now still in that DRS as ENTXJ, one of the first men of the day to pick up a time penalty. Is Matty overtake? Oh, that's me. Just forget that. And what's going on here? We get Pedro, Mick, Ryan, Sam, all getting caught up in it. Mick will need to just be a little bit careful. Pedro is trying to maintain some damage, which is rightfully entitled to do so. Mick just needs to be aware of that and capitalise, probably on a corner exit, is where it will come. He's going to try and push on now though under the DRS. Pedro of course has some himself. Bucket loads of energy. Oh, as Pedro's hit the ball again, and this is going to be the opportunity Mick needed to go to the outside. There'll now be a drag race down to the last corner between Pedro and Mick because they both have DRS. Who's going to get the better? But Mick on the outside line should be able to do more as Pedro's had a moment. And he's collected Mick. And I think he's just misjudged his braking a little bit there. Mick able to get going again. I don't think he got any damage. And Pedro's going to go into the pits. I think he picked up much more wing damage. And Rob still 2 seconds out in front. We're down to 4 laps to go. And he has drove very, very well this evening. Of course it's only the sprint, but if he can do this in the main race, in the feature race, then it's going to be a good haul of points for Rob Wills. So let's see here, Leighton and Mika Lando doing a bit of racing. Mika not going to push, so I think he's going to use the opportunity down into the last corner. So this may be when he gets on the push. So here we go, ERS on, DRS open. Oh, he's going to back off the power, so maybe he's just used a little bit to recover what he gave up off the exit at turn 21. And Nadeem will see that red light flashing across, steps up ahead his teammate, and of course know that he now has about a 30% energy advantage to Kristaps. And at Jeddah being a track that you tend not to be able to recover it because there is really only one big braking zone, and that's the very last corner. Other than that, it's not too heavy on the brakes at all. And Mick now got himself up onto the train, so recovering very, very well. Oh no, it's not. I've got my gaps a bit mixed up. Still up 2 positions though. As my AI gets pushed over the road by Speechy. I do not appreciate that at all, young Speechy. As are we going to see now Nadeem push to get the move done? He's got 3 laps to go. Does it feel like he can catch Rob Wills? That is the question. Surely he wants the front row of the grid for the start. As Mackie picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. And here we go, here comes Nadeem, he's all on the energy, DRS open, Kristaps defending the inside line, but Nadeem says I will come for it as he moves over in, the track down the inside, and a nice easy move into turn 1, although Kristaps looking for the better exit. Yeah, that was a bit silly. A little bit of a mistake. And Nadeem, has he got enough on tap now to push on him up the road? Leighton still holding Michelando at bay. So either way, he's still got P4 in the race, and still a feature race with opportunity. So is Mika going to push? Oh, and look at Leighton's energy. So I would say Leighton's in a bit of the driving seat here. He has the better energy at store as Chubby Slug picks up a time penalty now. He's all over the back of Michelando as well. If Rob Wills is going to take us down to 2 laps to go, off the last corner he comes. He's still maintained that 2.2 second gap, in fact, out to 2.5 seconds now. It's Chubby Slug now, gets to Michelando. I wonder what happened there. Was that a release from his teammate? So any battles further back, that's my AI. I keep looking at that gap. Ryan, Sam and ENTXJ, this could be a good battle. Let's stay with this one for a little bit. Oh, and who's that? Oh, Chubby Slug, he's round and he falls down the order. He's got no wing. And that's going to add a bit of insult to injury because there's just no way he can continue. He's going to have to take a pit stop. And here comes Scammer. It's Matterman being nice and fair there. Not getting in the way. He does love a spin, does he, Matt? And the guys have been picking up a couple of warnings there. We need to be careful of that one. Let's see, here we go. ENTXJ v Ryan Sam. Are we going to see a move down the inside? Ryan Sam on the soft compound tyre, so maybe they're just getting past their best. And who's going to get the DRS now? I think it's going to be ENTXJ as they head up the straight to turn 1. But look at the straight line speed of Ryan Sam's Haas. He's been able to put a good old bit of margin against ENTXJ. He'll keep the nose ahead down into turn 1. So here they go, they'll be side by side through 2. And then up on the run to turn 3, and Ryan Sam has to just tuck him behind on his soft compound tyre. Maybe realises with the penalty it's just not a fight to take. Now we're going to see Marty make a move on Adam here as Matterman leaves the pit. He filters down to P60. And he will come out behind this battle. Hopefully he went to a fresh soft compound tyre. Yes, he did. So that is the main thing. So he should be able to get a couple of positions back. But Rob Wills is on the last lap. He's just come into the last sector for the very last time. He's been faultless. He said whenever he started the season, he got the gap out to 2.2 seconds and never really looked back, and he's maintained and managed the race very, very, very well. This is probably the best we've seen him on off the last corner he comes. I think he'll be very happy with his performance indeed as he heads to the line, and he will take the win for round 6 sprint. Nadeem's going to come home for a P2. He's up a double. Kristaps will seek home the P3 starting position. Leighton loses out in a couple, but I think he was able to see off the gap to Michelando in penalties. He does, so he holds P4. Michelando 5, ENTXJ will come on P6, but I think he will lose out. Well, he is going to lose out to Ryan Sam in the end, so it'll be P7 for Jay, P6 for Ryan Sam, a good 5 position gains. Then Skarmer will come home in P8. Sugg will get P9, but he'll jump Skarmer, so he goes to P8. Speech to P9. Then it'll be Mick P10 to take me out of the race, so Mick still somehow recovered that even after the contact with Pedro, or the contact from Pedro. He's somehow still up 4 positions from the starting position of the race. Skarmer P12, Nude Potato 13, Dixie P14, Matty 15, Chubby Slug 15, 16, Pedro P17 and Pelly P18. Little race start, very entertaining. Yeah, definitely Mick. I think he would hold his hands up there, and no Pedro will. I think he will put his hands up. And accept liability. Ryan Sam gets the driver of the day for the sprint. I think I thoroughly deserve one as well. Nevertheless though, Mick, I was watching the gaps you had to the group in front. And there we go. It's a shame as well for both, of course, because you were both in a very good position. Pedro was still racing reasonably well with the broken wing. He probably felt that he could have continued and seen through a good result, so I don't think that was beneficial to neither. Three thumbs up. It's better than a one thumbs up, I guess. But still, Mick, P11. Plenty of opportunity, or P10, in fact, he took me out of that. I was a disaster. I mean, that's normal. I'm sorry, Pedro. Love you. Best start, probably the best race I've seen you race. Albeit only 9 laps with Rob. Yeah, that's probably the strongest I've seen you across any league racing this season. So a nice turn of events. And we get set. Oh, a daytime Jeddah race. Yep, that is wrong. And guys, I think we're going to be quite dramatically. I'm not the host, Stephen. So, we'll see exactly if there's anything being said, though. So I think so I just called it as well. So I think they are going to pull a restart, get the session on to the right start time, because I think it will be much more difficult to drive in the day, so hopefully everybody sees it. Has anybody seen it? So Michelando's been DSQ'd. Have they seen it? Have they seen it? If you're watching the stream, guys, and you can hear me, there is going to be a restart. You cannot do the race in daytime. You think the rear of the car is tricky to control it. Jeddah at the best of times, well, trust me, in the temperatures at day, it's going to be no better. Although, everybody seems to be. So hopefully now, players join in. We will quickly go So, just give Adam over the information. So bear with us 1 second, chat. I'll make sure I go to spectator as well. And yes, set well to clear just in case. So, very strange things by the game. Oh yeah, I will forward that message to Adam. So, Adam will be setting the grid. I can go to spectator now, so you'll need to make sure he takes me out of the grid. Of course, I'm not P10 anymore. So from what we've seen there, chat, for those that are still in, who do we think from the sprint race goes on to win the feature? Get this shown. Does everyone have the sound bug? Adam Clark is that is a horrendous statement. So, we are readying up. Speechy calling Rob for the win. Form to continue. Hey Speechy, you overtook me in the race. I'm at AI and I don't like it. You pushed me off the road. No, Rob. That's not the attitude. Just saying I think you're gonna win. Fight. I'm sorry. I agree. Oh, is it Leon? I'm sure it's Leon on the Evans 9219. I'm sure that is you, Leon. So I'm just going to go with Leon. I agree. Tactical start. Well, that's it. It's pole position. It's a pinch point, turn 1 and 2 right. So if you park the car in the right place, even if they do attempt to move, unless they're fully alongside, they're probably going to need to get out it or clamber all over the curbs. Good evening, Dale. Ow, just got an electric shock from my cable. That was not nice. Hope you are well. A tough race last night to start, but you still get yourself back into a better position near the end. It's good to see the pebbles of recovery were on your side. Ah, what, my car or your car, Speechy? So there we go. The night has fallen the way it should be. And we'll get a sneak peek now while everybody gets the setups. Oh, I'm just not allowed to see race director. Oh, there we go. So is anybody going to go for any changes? Everybody upped into the medium compound tyre for now. I hope Adam's put it on 50%. This would be a bit crazy. But you recovered, right? So it's a good sign on your bad days if you can recover well, Dale. Positives, mate. It's all positives. I think the step you've took this year's been very impressive. I think for any driver, Dale, this is how I see it. Don't take this in a bad way. I mean it in the biggest compliment possible. Any driver that's maybe not as smooth, and you know smoothness and fluency is what gives you pace, especially that's why some of the guys at the top, like, oh, how did they go through, they're so fast. To take the big step in pace you've took this year, it's a lot easier, it's a lot harder, sorry, for you to take that step than the others, in my opinion. So, big respect. And I like an underdog, Dale. I do love me an underdog. You like the little dark horse on Sunday evenings. Speechy as well. Expect a better result for you, Speechy, soon. You're going to get a podium on a Sunday night as well. So, are we going to have the formation lap? That's the question. So there is going to be a formation lap, so it gives us a bit of time. And a look at who's done what on the tyre. So look at Ryan Sam, he's gone for that soft compound tyre yet again off the start. Giving Mika Land on P5, Surge P6, Dixie P13, all in the hards, and then every other driver on that medium compound tyre to start. So Rob Wills from Nadim for the first row of the grid. Row 2 will be Kristaps and Leighton. Row 3 will be Mika and Ryan Sam. Row 4, Jay and Surge. Row 5, Speechy and Mick. Row 6, Skarma and Nude Potato. Row 7, Dixie and Matty. Row 8, Chubby and Pedro. And back there on his lonesome, row 9 is Pelly. So, it's all about the start. It's not a massive run into turn 1, but there is enough distance. If you bog down on your start at all, you will be jumped. We've seen it from the first race with Leighton. He just ended up getting swallowed up by a couple of cars behind us, and he didn't start relatively bad. He only had a little bit of tyre slip. Just the guys getting that slightly better start behind, swallowed them up down into the first corner. I lost Mick in P10. Of course, sprint race, it was P15, so to be up there in P10, I think of course he could have felt it was more, but I think he'd be reasonably happy. Big gap to P3. Oh, yep, Kristaps. Yeah, that's certainly a bit more than 10 car lengths right there. So that could be something for the stewards. We have spoke about it, and it's all about now picking up your grid slot. And do not get disqualified. Sarge gets disqualified, so he will be set back just a little bit. Dixie gets disqualified, as is Mick. Any of the drivers further back. I think they're all okay, so we'll watch from the back of the grids. We get 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the OTL feature race, round 6 at Jeddah, is away. And who now gets the better start at the front? We're going to have to get on board from back there. We'll never see him. Look at Kristaps, look at this, round the outside, straight round the outside, into turn 1 from P3 in the grid, and through he goes. Leighton now had a trickier start yet again, but he's managing to navigate the madness. He does well to keep himself out of bother and just get through the first couple of corners. He's going to be able to capitalise on that hard compound tyre, and through he will go back to P5. Ryan Sam Lowe off the start. Let's look at position gained. He's up a couple, and that soft tyre working very well through the first couple of corners. Get Matty up 4, Kelly up 5, Chubby Slug gained a couple, and I don't know if Dixie got caught up in an incident. And here goes Ryan Sam now. He's going to put Rob Wells down to P4, the leader in a dominant victory in the sprint race, and he's put under pressure now in the opening lap of the feature race. He falls to P4, he's got Leighton 5. ENTXJ's managed to gain a position, he's up to P6 off the start. So, what happened to Mick? Mick down 7 positions, so Mick fell to the back of the order. Maybe he's just choosing to stay out of bother, and he's going to be able to capitalise now and get through a noob potato. And now gaining up to the back of Dixie. But let's look ahead to Ryan Sam, because he's going to be the man making all the action. Rob Ball's staying on the back of this fight as well, on that soft compound tyre, proving very, very grippy in the opening lap. But of course, it's not going to last long at all. The medium tyre will come back. Mick is sandbagging. Yep, I respect it. And let's see now, because we've got a good collection of big hitters from P1. I mean, the whole P2 to P10. In fact, everybody's in a train all the way to P14. So it's just going to be a case of who navigates through the first technical sector first, the best. Keeping the penalties down, I think, is a tricky thing. Well, it is for me at Jeddah. So it's a race of composure. You've just got to keep your head down. And that Williams does look very good in the night time, I must say. As we watch on for this battle for P2, and Kristaps now got himself out to almost the same gap Rob did for the feature race. The sprint, sorry. Oh, and that's a bit of a moment there for Ryan Sampson. Rob Wills is going to be able to capitalise on that. Leighton is waiting for any mistake as well. It's very, very close here between the Haas, the McLaren and the Williams. Any opportunities ahead, and the drivers racing with a very steady head so far, not taking any risks. And there's Rob Wills now. Does he fancy a move into turn 1? He is tucked up so tight to Ryan Sam. Let's see this, but Ryan Sam, the straight line speed in that Haas. It's absolutely insane on. Pedro's joined back. I wonder if he had a disconnection there. Oh, and who's that? That's ENTXJ getting through in Leighton. Speechy, the first man to pick up a time penalty on lap 3 of the race as well, so that's not an ideal situation for himself. But let's go to Rob Wills and Ryan Sam now, as they're going to go side by side through turns, well, I think that's turn 9. Not very good with corner numbers, I will not lie. Oh, and Ryan Sam, he's had a big moment, he's in the wall. This could be a safety car. This could be the first safety car of the race. It's a full course yellow, it's a VSC at the moment. I do not see the safety car in the pit lane, so VSC out. And it's just going to be too early. Although it certainly doesn't look like these guys are under a VSC. Kristaps pushing on quite dramatically. We're getting a full course yellow, but no safety car or no VSC. Or it is a VSC. I'll tell you, the drivers certainly don't look as if they're under a VSC, so that tells me the deltas are a bit broken, or I'm just not seeing the right thing here. And maybe now the deltas are collecting, so VSC is in. Who's chose to pit? Pelly and Skarma into the pits. Pelly's went for the hard compound tyre. What did Skarma go to? He's went to a fresh compound tyre. He nearly clips the wall, and he gets a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits in the pit lane. That is not ideal at all. Skarma, he made me wince there. And now we see the drivers more at VSC speed, so the deltas are still a bit broken, I think, in the opening lap as we get back to green flag racing. Look at that ENTXJ. He has absolutely caught Rob Wills napping and has Leighton. He's going to try and slip up the inside. Rob Wills has to hold on here. He's been caught napping just a little bit, and Leighton's going to get on the energy and try and push through now. He'll have the inside line for the next corner and a bit of DRS. And I think he's going to get through. He will be ahead down into turn 21. Rob Wills going to try and hang it round the outside. He'll top back in behind, and Leighton and ENTXJ both catching Rob off guard a bit on that restart. So Rob just needs to get his head back into a good position, and I'm sure that pace became so naturally, or looked so natural in the sprint race, will come back to him. It's Mika Lando now in his hard compound tyre. He's having a good stint. He's only down one position off his starting spot. Chubby Slug and Matty now starting to make gains. Matoman being closed by Surge, and further back we get Pedro and Speechy doing a bit of racing. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Pedro now will have the inside line for 2. He'll leave space for Speechy. Oh, and I flicked all the way for that, didn't want to do that, and they're still side by side, and Pedro will get ahead in the run to turn 4. And up to P10 he goes from the back of the grid. Oh no, Skarma. Oh, and it's Pedro at the moment. Has he picked up some damage there? He has. He's picked up damage in the wall. So let's watch this podium fight, because I think this is going to be very entertaining as it unfolds. Oh, let's go to that one. Mick and Adam about to do some racing. It's Nadeem ENTHJ now. Leighton all set the fastest lap of the race. Mick choosing not to push on that one, so I don't think that overtake is going to arrive. So Chris Stapps leads the way. Nadeem P2, ENTHJ P3. Leighton 4, Rob Wells 5, Michelando 6, Matty P7, Speechy P8, Dixie 9. Mick rounds out the top 10 as we get to a quarter of the way into the race. So ENTHJ now really on the push. He's been able to find a bit of form. His pace has come alive. Oh, did Leighton do a 360? No! Still got lots of energy on tap. Looking pretty steady. ENTHJ now sets the fastest lap of the race as he starts to close in now on a race leader. Chris Stapps held it for 7 laps. After that sublime starting move round the outside and Rob into turn 1 from P3 of course. But ENTHJ from P7 on the grid has his eyes as it stands firmly set and chasing down a race leader and getting himself in control of this race. Oh, and a bit of overcorrection there for ENTHJ, and that's going to put him under pressure now from Nadeem as the rear of the car just try to snap away. Nice a jobby Leon in left. He should come back, shouldn't he? I've just had a seat opened up, Stephen, wink wink. Parrot left, so no crazy people. As Michelando picks up his first time penalty of the race for multiple warnings. So, this is the only battle on track now as the race slowly opens up. A couple of drivers took their pit stops of course. Let's actually have a look at that. So Scarmapelli, Pedro Surge and Chubby Slug all took their pit stops further back in the grid. Will they come into play later on? That is the question. And Mick at some point did get through an Adam. He's now 1.5 seconds ahead, up into P9 and almost into that penalty window of Speechy into P8. So driving well at the moment is Mick. Leighton started to find a bit of pace again. He's now closing back in on the P6 position. But Nadeem VJ, I think, is the relevant battle. As we watch from afar. No gains this time around. Into the last corner they go. You see just how aggressively they're trying to take the straight line at the track, not even midway point in the race. So that shows these guys are pushing each other along a little bit. And Rob Wells will be hoping for them to get into a bit of a fight. Maybe that fight would allows him to close that 3.7 second gap. And Leighton now on the back of Matty. So, Leighton, I think, waiting. To open the DRS, and round he goes round the outside. Matty will tuck in behind, but there's going to be nothing he can do down at the last corner. He'll just need to get the DRS and return up the main straight. He's just got to focus on his exit off the last corner. Can he make any gains back on Leighton down into turn 1? Don't think he's been able to, and now our front 3 all embroiled in a little bit of a fight. It's going to be a very good day in the office for the AlphaTauri boys if this continues. So, Nadeem fell off the DRS a little bit. What's happening to Nadeem? So see at a moment, has he picked up some damage? No damage in the car, so car looks fine. It seems to something caught his attention or something as we now see ENTSG go through. He will in lap 10 take control of the race in that Red Bull car. But of course, Medium Tyres pit stop coming up in the next few laps. So watch somebody like Mika on that hard compound tyre. And Leighton is recovering superbly. He's got himself back up to P6. He's closed the distance to Mika by another second or 2 seconds. And still continuing on, Matty now into the pit, so he's maybe going to try and trigger an undercut. He'll go to the hard compound tyre, that'll be one he's won and only stop for the race. Off he goes on his jolly way. As Mick gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Subs trying to make a move in Mataman, but Mataman again, so good straight line speed that Mercedes. And has Kristaps lost the DRS? I don't think he has, but I think this will maybe be his last go at it, unless Jay has a moment up ahead. And now he has broken that DRS, so the gaps between the top 3 open up as the stint starts to wear on. Tyre dig now will be becoming a big factor. Starman out all over the back of Dixie. So Skarma unable to get any purchase, and now to overtake as Rob Wills comes out the pits now. He's opted to go into the hard compound tyre, so he's going to try and make some gains, as has Nadeem. That is absolute nonsense, Stephen. And Scammer picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings. So Leighton out on the back of Michelando. Pace been very strong on the recovery. Here comes Leighton. You're going to see a move. He'll go to the racing line, try and go around the long way into the last corner. They're going to be side by side, and this is some cracking racing here. They'll now drag race up the main straight as we go on board with. Oh, and look at the switch over. That's some clever racing there between the two. Leighton gets through. He's into the pits, and now Michelando takes control of the race on that hard compound tyre. Dixie well, of course, he's not stopped. He's maybe about to gain a position or two. Well, I think Leighton may actually come out just ahead here. And it's Leighton, oh, Leighton and Rob. Bit of contact there. Not quite sure what happened there. Oh, Rob lag, is that a connection thing? Seen a bit of lag there. So Leighton will bring his tyres up, and if he can find that pace he had, he is net P5 and he is very much in the window of drivers ahead. The ENTSJ though, 1.6 seconds ahead on the Dean, and he is absolutely chilling. So where is the battles? Dixie and Scammer continues on. They've been going at it for a little while. Dixie now doing everything he needs to do for his race if he can keep these guys behind. Now here comes Scammer's going to make the move round the outside into turn 1. Dixie good in the brakes. Scammer's going to try and roll it all the way. But it's good, clean race in between the two. Now how gets the better launch up to turn 4. Dixie still there and Scammer's inside. They're going to stay side by side into form. I think Dixie may be able to hold this one off. But Scammer gets through some good, hard, wheel-to-wheel, aggressive racing there. And Scammer picks the better of Dixie. Oh, I only called him another name there. And Matty now in the other Ferrari, hoping to get involved in this battle as well. Chubby Slug picks up another time penalty for multiple warnings. Now we've got Leighton in that DRS window of Rob. Is Leighton going to be able to gain enough down into the last corner? Not this time, but if he can get a good exit off the last corner, can he maybe run on Rob down into turn 1? Well, he appears not to be pushing too hard as Leighton now sits the fastest lap for the race, so he's definitely on a push. This little battle hotting up, and somewhere Dixie's get back in front of Scammer, and now they are right behind Michelando, who's just out the pits. Of course, he's going to be on that not so fresh rubber. And Dixie looking nice and tidy through the first sector. Can he hang on to this DRS? This could be good for him here. It's been Leighton and Rob Wills. Look how close they are this time. So Leighton definitely close enough to strike this time around, and here he goes. DRS will open, there's going to be nothing Rob can do this time. Through he goes, into P4. Gap to Kristaps ahead now, 4.7 seconds. Has he got the pace on hand to close the distance? And is Rob just going to hang on and continue this battle between them? Pelly now making moves on Skarma. Pelly has took his pit stop and he's recovering. He's recovering well. Can he take the tyre the distance? He's pretty much matching his PB at the moment. So pace looking fine. Oh, Rob Wills touching a little bit of the wall on the inside there at 4. Now we get Matty on the back of Dixie. And I'm amazed, no safety car. Let's get on board with this one. Coming up, is Matty going to be able to get through as Dixie slaps the wall a little bit? And Dixie again touching the wall. I think Dixie is going hard to softs here. Skarma into the pits. Is that for a, is this for a wing change? I think he's in need of a wing. Yes, he is. So ENTXJ 4 seconds clear, 8 laps to go in the race. And it's a 3-second gap between Nadeem and Kristaps, then 3.4 to Leighton, but Leighton is closing the gap between himself and Kristaps slowly but surely. And he is just eking that advantage away. So I think in a few laps time we could see Leighton on the back of Kristaps. Bear with me 1 second, chat. So, back. Gap's still 4.4 out front, but Leighton now 2.5 seconds behind Kristaps. He is a man in a mission. We get Pelly all over the back of Matty in P8. Let's look at positions change. Pelly up 9 positions. And after a tough sprint race, he's doing a very good job at the moment. Dixie's still not stopped. There, the two come out now just behind Speechy and Mick. But of course he would go to a soft compound tyre. able to make gains. But let's stay with Leighton because he has now got that gap down to 1.9 seconds. Just about to tick down to 6 laps to go. Yeah, Jay's been very good today. But Leighton taking yet another fastest lap of the race. And he is looking very, very comfortable at the moment. Well, Pelly and Matty here making a move. Is Pelly going to try and send one down the inside into turn 1? Matty will go for the cutback. And that's a good little move there from Pelly. Through he goes into P7, gap 8.2 seconds, but even still, that's him up from P15 on the grid. Dixie now into the pits, he will come out not far behind that Speechy, Mick and Surge fight. Dixie will probably eye P10 here. Oh, excuse me, chat. Definitely he'll eye a top 10. Leighton now 1.4 seconds behind Kristaps. So this is going to be the battle ahead. So Leighton now, he's eventually dragged himself into the DRS range of Kristaps. So here we go, ENTHJ now sets the fastest lap of the race. But Leighton has got his eyes firmly set on a debut podium in OTL, as he is now well within that DRS zone of Kristaps. So half a second the gap, through sector 1 they go. Kristaps will have, or be very aware that Leighton is now very much there behind him. They're even on energy, so it's purely going to be on pace, and you've got to say with the distance closed, the advantage is all in Leighton's favour. The question is, can he get through and close? Could he snatch P2 here? 3 seconds? Whoa. It's possible. I think Leighton and Jay pretty much match in lap times, and this is going to be all the opportunity Leighton needs. Here he comes, he'll go to the racing line, DRS will open, and through he goes into P3 on the grid. Kristaps, good run of form. It's slowly coming away, but nevertheless he's got to be very, very happy to come home in a P4 and take the podium in the sprint race. A very, very good day. Kristaps will try and hang on. Of course, he's shown he's got the pace, but the gap I'm interested by is that 3.5 second gap between Leighton and Nadeem. How much does that come down? He needs about 7/10 a lap, 8/10 a lap to get him maybe on the last lap, and he's already found a couple of tenths, 3/10 in the first sector. So Leighton is on the push. For the back in the order, Speechy and Mick doing a bit of racing. I think Mick getting the better Speechy there. Dixie not quite caught up in his soft compound tyre just yet. .7 seconds for Leighton against Nadeem, so he's found that 8/10 of a second. The gap was 3.5 once he got through, so 8/10 he was needing a lap, and 8/10 he is getting. Speechy has went round at turn 9. So I think Chubby Slug will get through, and maybe even Skarma. So Leighton keeps going at this pace, and he will have one opportunity near, or not near, at the very last lap, on the very last lap I should say. So let's see if he finds the same time through the technical part of the first sector. And only a 10th this time. The gap though, 2.5 seconds. And still coming down. 3 laps to go. Pelly as well, up from P17, the back of the grid. He's got himself up to P7, and I want to see the tyre because he's been on that for a little while. Where is Pelly? Yep, 18 laps on the hard compound tyre. Look at the stint he's done there. It's an absolute monster stint to get himself to P7 on the grid. Mick. Oh, so he is. 0.8 of a second surge on a 16 lap on medium. He's going to be right at the end. So Mick looking to get himself up to P9 here, and he is closing very, very quickly indeed. In fact, he's going to get himself back into the DRS range of Surge. Yeah, they're going to be absolutely fried. Mick just needs to get a good exit here. Although he will know that he's got a few laps. This Leighton gets the gap down to 2 seconds with 2 laps to go, so he needs a bit more time in the last couple of laps. Well, they've essentially got 3 laps to go. But he may just get himself inside that window. .7 seconds now, so Leighton. I know he's getting a lot of screen time, but he is making a lot of gains. Let's go to this mixed Surge battle as Dixie picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. Gap between Leighton and Nadeem further up, 1.6 seconds now, couple of laps to go. And Mick was getting punchy there. He certainly had to think about it, and this may be the only opportunity he needs now. So here we go. Energy is on DRS open, and here we go to the outside. And I think by the end of the straight it's going to be a pretty easy job done, as Dixie now will look for the exit on his fresh soft compound tyre. Surge maybe not over with this one though. He's going to come back under the DRS. He'll go to the racing line, and Mick cannot do much about that one at all. Surge on his 18 lap old medium gets back ahead, so Mick will need to take a mental note of that. But further up, look at this. Leighton on the second last lap of the race has indeed got himself onto that DRS window of Nadeem. Leighton going to possibly recover a very, very solid P2 here. So how much is he going to push? And how much is Nadeem going to defend it? Remember, this is for P2 in the race. DRS will open. And he is going to just hang fire for now. He is not interested, I don't think, in making the opportunity this lap around. On to the last lap we go. This will be it though for Leighton. Can he steal the P2 in the very last lap? Oh, and there's been a big crash. Who's that between? It's between, oh, Surge, Mick and Dixie. But let's go to Leighton. And I think they've all actually gave each other positions back. So that is very, very respectful there between them all. Scammer picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings. I think that might have been Adam, Stephen, if he's given the positions back. So, on the very last lap, there is 2 DRS zones to go. How does this one play out between Leighton and Nadeem? There is 4/10 of a second gap. Leighton pushing as much as he can. He's got to focus on the good exit. Oh, and he's just been hesitant on the throttle. That could have got it away. Dixie retires from the session in the pits if he's nearly for the checker flag anyway. And I don't think Leighton's going to be able to get it. ENTXG looking to the last corner. Is he going to be able to steal something at the line? It's all about the exit now and the run to the line. Here we go. Is Leighton going to be able to pinch this? It's going to be mega close between himself and Nadeem. He'll pull out to the side. There's going to be other lane. I think Nadeem just gets it. Only just by 0.021 of a second. Absolutely nothing split. What a recharge through the field there. But a recovery for Leighton. He gets a debut podium, almost a P2. Kristaps P4, Rob Wells P5, Mika Lando 6, Matteo come home in P7. Although Pele may be able to do something about it. We're going to have another photo finish to the line. No, we are not. Matteo get P7, Pele with a solid P8 from the back of the grid on a 21 lap stint on the hard compound tyre. Chubby Slug, I think we'll get P9. And we'll just keep an eye to how positions will change further down the order. So Chubby Slug is P9. Yes, I think it will be. And Mick gets P10 on the grid. Skarma P11, Speechy will come on P12, Pedro will get P13, and Sarge will come round. Oh, he's out of fuel. Sarge has got no fuel left in the car. Pedro will actually get P12, Speechy P13, and Sarge with no fuel will come home in P14. Oh, what a finish there between Leighton and Nadeem. I knew that was going to be a juicy one. We'll let Serge take the flag. And he's going to crawl into the pits. And there is the end of the race. It's P14 and classification for Serge. Chubby Slug gets the driver of the day from the game. And Serge's car just didn't even want to put. He's happy just to drive through. So we'll wait and get final classification, and then we will get Jay, Nadeem and Leighton in for a chitty chat. So there is the final classification. ENTXJ P1, Nadeem P2, Leighton P3 by the smallest of margins. Chris, in fact, the smallest margin in OTL history. Kristaps P4, Rob Wells P5, Mika Lando P6, Matty P7, Pele P8 with a stunning drive. He probably gets my vote as driver of the day. In fact, it will be Pele. Chubby Slug P9, Mick P10, Skarma 11, Pedro 12, Speechy 13 and Surge P14. So let's add Nadeem, Leighton, and Jay. So SAF1. Nadeem, and then Leighton. So here we go, we'll add them in, we'll see if they'll join us for a chat. Yeah, it looked a very entertaining race between the boys, some good wheel-to-wheel battles. Yeah, I think they get no really much complaints. I think a couple of incidents further back, but other than that, I think the top 10 definitely had a very, very entertaining day. ENTXG join us. We'll just give it a minute, Jay, and see if the other two join with you. So is Nadeem and Leighton going to join? Leighton does, so we will just give it another minute, see if Nadeem comes in. And there he is. So there we go. We'll go first to third, because we'll get the exciting ending and at the end. Jay, are you here?
Hello, hello.
Good evening. Very well done. Firstly, from
Thank
P7 in the grid, a very thoroughly deserved race victory. The ending of that race was that kind of manic, and it was such an entertaining feature race that sprint races kind of slipped my mind a little bit. So I'd love to say, oh, your sprint race went great or bad or otherwise, but let's just talk about the feature race because that's where the big points were scored. How was it for you?
Yeah, no, it was really good. I think, honestly, on the mediums, I think I got kind of lucky that Ryan and Sam had a moment, and then Leighton had a moment, because it meant I didn't get stuck in a massive train, and I think Leighton may have been a bit quicker than me as well in the race, so I got a little bit lucky at the start, but then I think from lap 10 onwards I made the moves that I needed to make, and I think I did a pretty good job of taking the making opportunistic moves, and yeah, very happy with how it went.
And then you got control of the lead of the race on lap 10, and then from there you never really looked back. Was there any concern at any point? Of course, Leighton was a charging man. I think he went through a phase where I think he set 5 fastest laps on the bounce. And I think if anybody sees that jumping up on the screen, it's a bit eye-opening, like, right, this guy's coming and he's coming pretty quickly. Did you think if he cleared the Alpha Tauris pretty quickly, there was a chance that he closed you down?
Partially, yeah. I saw, like you said, when fastest laps are flashing up on the screen like that, you get a little bit scared. So I did a crazy push lap, set fastest lap, put enough gap between myself and Nadeem, so I thought I was pretty safe after that. Then I had a moment which lost me about 3 seconds, so I just decided to take it slow to the end. But for sure, Leighton's pace was crazy today, and I think it was kind of lucky that he got caught behind. I think he got caught behind Kristaps for a little bit. I think if he didn't, then I think I would have been in trouble.
I think it would have been an entertaining race between you two, honestly, because you were in a different position. Leighton was obviously recovering, so he knew he had to just be driving a bit quicker, whereas you're in a consistency mode at the front. But the minute he set the fastest laps, you very quickly, once you seen 2 or 3 come in, you reacted, and then your lap times kind of stayed the same until, of course, you had that little moment and maybe the gaps fluctuated. But in the whole, it's still a race victory, Jay. I think that's number 2 of the season? 3? Number 2?
2, I think, Monaco and now this.
So, that puts you back in a driving seat in the championship. Got to feel good going into next week?
Yeah, especially as I missed last week, it's good to come back and get a win, make up for the points that I missed out on.
Definitely. So very good job, Jay. A very, very thoroughly deserved race victory.
Thank you. Just a little point. It was really good racing from Leighton in the sprint race as well.
Oh yeah, full lap side by side. Yes, it was fantastic.
It was amazing.
So very good job, and that is a nice note to end talking to Jay. Nadeem, are you here, young man? Hello? Nadeem? No, I think he's having some headset issues. Nope. Right, Nadeem, we will. I will jump to Leighton, and then if you get your headset sorted, we can come to you at the end. Leighton,
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
there we go. It doesn't. Is that you? Is this you, Leighton? Yes.
Yeah.
You made a very entertaining race for us there in the end. I think maybe a bit of disappointment. Starts is where I think all of your time was gave up, because once you settled, I think you and Jay, two fastest guys, if maybe you edging Jay out by a tenth or two, but of course you probably need more than a tenth or two to really pull a gap here, because if they're in the DRS, it's hard to pull away. So I think that's where it would have been entertaining. But nevertheless, you gave us the closest finish in OTL history in your debut, so setting records already. How do you feel?
Surprised. I'm a bit disappointed that I couldn't get second, but when I spun, and then after the start of the hard stint, and I saw this first AlphaTauri out of the two was around 3 seconds, and then the second one was around 6 seconds, I was just aiming for third. But then when I passed the first one, and then after the first lap, I asked Mark how much am I gaining, and he said 7/10 a lap, and then from there I just keep asking him. And yeah, once my setup was really good, because I think I had very low wings compared to everyone else, because I was gaining a lot on straights without touching my ARS.
Yeah, and I think that's what made the difference, of course, when you came up behind somebody.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then it helped with ARS saving as well, because with lower wing you gain ARS quicker, I believe, or it's the other way around. I'm not too sure.
And do you feel, Leighton, there was a race victory in there?
What did you say, sorry?
Do you feel like, sorry, bad accent and I talk a bit fast, you'll get used to it eventually. Do you feel there was a race victory in there for you?
No, not at all. Once I spun I knew I wasn't getting the win, but beforehand maybe, but yeah, I would have settled for at least fourth.
But nevertheless, a debut podium, and you made it very, very entertaining. There was some tremendous racing across both races between yourself and a whole host of drivers. I think everybody was just like, let's race the new guy today, and you just were in the thick of it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't fun because I had a very bad first lap in both races. I was just dropping positions. I think I dropped about 4 in the sprint race and like 3 in the main race, but after I got settled, I was cruising.
Yeah, and as I say, Leighton, as debuts go, you couldn't have asked for a better one, just in terms of the way you were on track, the racing you were involved in, and the recovery from a moment. You kind of had it all.
I felt like Lewis Hamilton for a little bit, I'll put it that way.
Well, very good job. Oh, sorry.
I'm excited for next week. Hopefully I'll be here again.
I hope to see you here, because that puts you at the front, and if you keep coming up and doing things like this every week, then I am all in. That is absolutely fine by me.
Yeah, well, thank you. The racing part, I really enjoyed myself. Some drivers gave us a real test and I enjoyed it.
That's what we like to hear, and you were a very, very good addition to OTL. It was a pleasure to have you this evening. So very good job on a debut podium, and so close to what could have been P2.
0.026. That number will hold me.
But nevertheless, an absolutely tremendous debut, Leighton, and yeah, I hope to see you give us some more entertainment as the weeks go on.
Thank you, and hopefully I will live up to your expectations.
Nadeem?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Good evening, gents.
Good evening. So, Nadeem, a pretty solid enough race for yourself. You were always in the mix. You kind of reaffirmed yourself on your return. Like, look, I do drive. I remember I'm here in that top 3 fight. I'll always be about.
Yeah.
Happy with your performance?
Yeah, I think relatively happy. To be honest, wasn't the most confident going into today. I just don't think I had the pace of Jay and Leighton today. So, yeah, I think P2 is probably a decent result considering my pace wasn't right up there. And yeah, that last few laps was very, very intense, and I was racing a million miles per hour. But yeah, just a relief that I got over the line, to be honest.
So, in a whole, it was looking good for AlphaTauri for the first kind of half of the race, but then Jay and Leighton, they seemed to just flick a switch at lap 9, and the pace just came from nowhere. Because it was looking a very good opportunity that maybe AlphaTauri walked away with a 1-2 for a good first portion of the race. But nevertheless, 2 and 4.
Yep.
A good result. I think you extend your advantage in the Constructors' Championship and you bring yourself back up in the Championship fight. So that's a good day in the office, nevertheless. And if you're saying somewhere you're not confident, Nadeem, then I think any time you're at a track you're not confident, get a podium, it's a very good day.
Yeah, I think overall was a good day for both drivers. Yeah, I think at the first stunt it was definitely looking like there was at least a double podium on, but yeah, as you said, like towards the end of the first, and I think Jay just flipped the switch then, and Leighton was just catching and catching. So yeah, I think P2 is definitely the best I could have hoped for. So yeah, just keep on chipping away, and hopefully the consistency can get me closer to the title. It's the best I can do.
And is that your tensest finish in league racing history?
Yeah, it's up there. I've had a photo finish before. I unfortunately came out on the other side, so I had some bad flashbacks to that. So yeah,
Nice to come out on the good side.
Yeah.
So very good job, Nadeem. A solid P2 and a very, very good day in the office. It's good to see you back and fighting where you should be.
Cheers, Chris.
So that is us for this Monday evening. It was a very, very entertaining evening indeed. Well done to Jay, to Nadeem and to Leighton. I already called my driver of the day. It was Pelly. 22 laps in the hards and still gained 8 positions. I don't know how he managed that. So I think just that, credit where credit is due. And that is us for this evening. Of course, HWR is live again on Wednesday for some more Jeddah sprints. So until then, we will see you very soon.